Well, hello everyone. My name is Luis Armando Choco, Executive Chocolate Maker for AgroNosotros. I'm sure that by now you've heard about our cacao operation in Belize. I'll share with you more information about what we're doing on the ground to bring these great products to you and to the world. For those of you who have not yet heard about us, this is an opportune time for you to learn about our work in the field. You are familiar with this product, chocolate. Unless you're allergic, there is 99% chance that you have eaten chocolate. In fact, in the USA alone, over 2.8 billion pounds of chocolate is consumed per year. That's equivalent to 11 pounds per person. That's remarkable, isn't it? Even in tough economic time, chocolate is still consumed. Currently, it is more than a $90 billion industry, and the demand continues to grow, albeit in special niches or a rather more profound or specialized trading platform. At AgroNosotros, we have identified those niches and developed a robust, vertically integrated company. I will therefore share with you how we are involved, what we are doing, and what we have done so far. And if you do not know where chocolate comes from, it comes from a tree, a cacao tree. And this tree can produce cacao for as long as 40 years. But it won't start in the first year after planting. It will take approximately 3 years before it starts to produce. And when it produces, there are approximately 40 pods, cacao pods, about the size of a rugby ball or an American football. And in that pod, there are approximately 35 to 40 beans. And it's those beans that we extract. We take them through a process called fermentation and drying, and then voila, we have our cacao beans. And then of course the chocolate maker take those cacao beans and process them into final finished chocolate products. On one tree, we can produce approximately 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds of cacao. And like I mentioned earlier, it takes about 3 to 4 years before we can get the fresh production after planting, and it will continue to produce for another 30 to 40 years. In the cacao beans, it's very sweet. The pulp, the white pulp, which contains approximately 90% water and 10% sugar, is very sweet, and it's the sugar in there that start the fermentation that continue the process towards that cacao beans becoming a chocolate product at the end of the day. And let's look a little bit more about the world cacao production in terms of the volume and percentage of volume and where they're produced. Of course, Africa is the largest producer of cacao. They produce approximately 72.5%. And in the Americas, starting from southern Mexico to into the Amazon, we produce 18%, and the Asia community produce 9.5%. Of course, cacao is only grown within a certain period within the equator. In fact, only 20 degrees within the equator. And so Belize is perfectly situated in that located geographic area where cacao is grown. But Africa produces primarily bulk cocoa, or what we call commodity cocoa, and they produce 95% of it. 95% of the world's cacao production is bulk cocoa, and the 5% is fine flavor. And that's where we at AgroNosotros position ourselves in. We're in that 5%, and it continues to grow. But what I mean by 5%, what do I mean by fine flavor? When I talk about fine flavor, I'm referring to the rare genetic variety of cacao compared to a more common genetic variety in bulk cocoa. The flavor notes for fine flavor are more complex. They're more fruity. They have long aftertaste. compared to bulk cocoa, where the cacao is more flat, there's more astringent, or sometimes they're even more earthy. And of course, the difference is that there's only a small percentage of the cocoa that is fine flavor compared to 95% of the market is bulk cocoa. And the fine flavor is mostly found within the upper Latin America and bulk cocoa in Africa, Indonesia, and in Brazil. Bulk cocoa is used mostly for sweet products, whereas fine flavor cocoa beans are used for the premium market. And of course, we produced a Belizean bar, and I will talk a little bit about that later on, why we produce it. And it's in that fine flavor niche market that we are targeting this product will penetrate through. But nonetheless, the demand for fine flavor and value-added cocoa continues to grow, and AgroNosotros was established to provide super fine flavor cocoa and cocoa value-added product to the world. In addition to that, we want to nurture Belize's prestige as a producer of fine flavor cocoa and support cacao growers in Belize by not only providing a market, but a better price for their product. AgroNosotros therefore has three distinct and equally important vertically integrated companies in Belize. That first company is Penny Cacao Plantations Limited. And Penny Cacao Plantations' main goal is to cultivate and produce super fine flavor cacao using innovative technological and ecological practices. As of today, we have 107 acres of cacao, all planted on a tree nursery with a capacity of 50,000 baby trees. This year we planted 40,000 trees. These trees are planted and are currently managed by a team of 23 men, all from the neighboring communities. These men are trained by our in-house agronomy department led by Mr. Andres Lopez in collaboration with a local NGO called the Nalum Cacao Institute. The trees are planted smartly using improved farming techniques that factor spacing, proper use of land, contours, shade trees, soil management. And the trees are currently 18 months old, and we're already seeing signs of flowering. It won't be until after another 18 months or 2 years before we will see the first harvest. When that happens, the next stage is to process those production into fermented and dried cacao beans. That goes right into our next company called the Belize Cacao Trader. And for short is BCT. And BCT's main responsibility is to bring fine flavor cacao beans to the world. BCT does this by ensuring the beans are of the highest quality. And that is a lot of hard work. First, wet beans are collected from the growers by our buying team, who go around every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to collect those beans. The beans are placed in special bags and transported to our centralized processing facility. The beans are fermented for 6 days and dried for another 6 days before they are hand selected and packed ready for the export market. We work with 154 organic certified farmers. This year we added another 50 more, and now we have 204 growers. It is important to note though that these farmers are subsistence cacao farmers. They cultivate 2 acres on average cacao. And so it's important that we provide technical support service to these growers, and we inspect and monitor their trees for production, and of course monitor their work, what they're doing on their farm. And one of the requirements for us to penetrate the niche market is to have our organic certification. And this year we had another successful inspection, and we continue to maintain our organic certification. We're certified by EmoCert, one of the requirements for our market. And then we have the Mahogany Chocolate Company Limited. Mahogany Chocolate has a full-scale chocolate production facility, and this is where we take the cacao beans produced by BCT, do one final selection to remove unwanted debris from their cacao beans before it continues to the next stage. After the beans are selected, we roast according to the specified roast profile. We crack and winnow the beans, and so of course we separate the shells from the nibs. The nibs are then pre-grinded, and at this stage the nibs turn into liqueur. And the reason why it turns into liqueur is because cocoa beans naturally contains approximately 50% cocoa fat. After we have the liqueur, we then put them in a refiner, and the refiner will further process the liqueur into very tiny particles to the point where we cannot taste any grit anymore, and that's basically chocolate. And it will refine for 48 to 72 hours. And during this stage, we add the ingredients based on the desired chocolate that we want to make. After the 48 or 72 hours, our chocolate is then ready to proceed to the next stage. And that next stage is what we call tempering. And that is where we take our chocolate and make them into chocolate bars, or mold them into whatever shape and size we want them to be. With those processes, we produce several value-added products, such as cacao nibs, cacao butter, cacao liqueur, and even chocolate couverture. And in addition to those finished chocolate bars, we also have bonbons and truffles. Currently, our flagship products for our retail stores are 2 branded chocolate bars and pralines. We aim to make best chocolate for locals and for the export market. Our Brockdown bar is a milk chocolate bar that is significantly higher in cocoa content, yet priced low for the local consumers. It is a product aimed to obtain the interest of locals to consume healthier products. The bar is aptly branded as Brockdown, a Creole dance, so that Belizeans have a product that is not only widely consumed and loved by Belizeans, but produced by Belizeans. Over 90% of the chocolate produced in Belize are dark chocolate. This is because over 70% of the market are tourists. This is the reason why most of the successful chocolate makers in Belize are located in the tourist areas, such as St. Pedro's Ambergris Key, Placencia, Hopkins, and a few other areas in the Cayo district. At Mahogany Chocolate, we've identified the need for another high-quality product, and so wittingly developed the Belizean chocolate bar. This is a 72% dark chocolate for the premium chocolate connoisseurs. Both our chocolate bars are developed for the local and export market. For those consumers who prefer more flavors and variety mixed with their chocolate, we produce pralines and truffles. These are produced and retailed at our store in San Pedro and Burgers Key. So there's chocolate for everyone, and the product list continues to grow. As we continue to expand and do wonderful things here with the people who work with us, there are also people behind the scenes, the farmers, the workers. Their work is as important to us. And so, because it transcends into the output that they produce for us. Similarly, our clients want to ensure that our products are consistent and that the business principles are fair for our people, for the environment, and for our development. Thus, the core operation of AgroNosotros is sustainability. Therefore, social, environmental, and economic development are the 3 key pillars of our business. We ensure that the livelihoods of our workers, our farmers, and the environment have improved. Better work conditions and fair pay for our work results in better work output and improved livelihood for their families. Better livelihoods also result in improved living conditions of our growers. Better education and training to our staff. Our 20% on sale bonus at the end of the year allows the farmers to expand their cacao acreage. This is possible because cacao seedlings equivalent to the value of their bonus are disbursed every planting season. This means that the farmers have the opportunity to expand their acreage, and expanding their acreage means they will have more income in the future. But while we focus on the social development of our farmers, the environment must also be taken care of. Therefore, we practice agroforestry farming, where our cacao thrives under the canopy of the rainforest and among other fruit trees, which are equally important for the growth of our cacao trees. And of course, they're controlled, as not only do we grow cacao to make into chocolate, but woodpeckers, kinkajous, and wild peccary also thrive from the best of our ripe cacao pods. So they are the first harvesters before we come. Our planting techniques, such as contour planting, ensures that we utilize land space and minimize soil erosion. Our sensitivity riparian buffer zones along river and waterways foster an abundance of animal equally necessary for our ecological advancement. Similarly, the nitrogen fixing trees also help improve our soil conditions. And so for us to continue contribute socially and environmentally, we must also ensure that we make money. Thus, an important aspect of the fact that our growers make money while they cultivate cacao. Similarly, penny cacao plantation must ensure that it is profitable. BCT must be profitable. We contribute economically to the well-being of everyone involved. And so we do this by, one, ensuring that our farmers have secure market. Secure market for our farmers means that they can continue work on their farm and do what they do best. The 100% payment on the delivery of their product means that they have cash flow to take care of their family and expand their farm operation. And most of our farmers do also invest back into their farm. Our higher than world market price payment by as much as 100% is a testament to their value and the effort that they contribute in their farm. All our work, our effort, our investment would not have been possible without our partnership with competent authorities such as Baja and Customs for the permits to export cacao, the farmers for their commitment to their farm, and Nalum Cacao Institute led by Gabriel Pop, an essential institution that fosters communication between AgroNosotros and our growers. For example, Nalum was instrumental to obtain BCT's organic certification, and they provide trainings to farmers and our staff and continue to monitor and provide inspection so that our farmers are always in compliance. So we did not do all these work on our own. We get the involvement of local people who are very instrumental, who are more known in the community. And so that is what we have been doing here on the farm. And of course, we are all working to create better livelihood conditions for our growers, to create more development in the Toledo district, and then to place back Belize's cacao on the world map. And so we continue to do this. And of course, what else to do it than with chocolate and cacao and chocolate? We consume it daily, and not only does it make you happy after consumption, it feeds and makes many families happy. It's a long-term investment and one that does not bring profit right away, but nonetheless guarantee future returns. Thank you for your time and attention to share this wonderful work with you. Thank you.